Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Putback Podcast with Tyler and Cole.
What's
or
up?
T and CJ, doesn't matter what you call us, it's fine. This week, we got some stuff for you.
We have some stuff for them every week.
I know. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. It's been a long day. Well, yesterday was a long day. It's early in the morning. Yesterday was a long day, okay? So, our socials before we get started. It's podcast Putback.
Yep.
On Twitter.
And Putback Podcast on Instagram.
That's right.
If you guys are on any streaming platform, they're linked down in the description below. If you're on YouTube, they're on the screen somewhere. I don't remember where I put them last time. I think I put them up here last
somewhere
time.
Down here. They're somewhere. Okay, just look for the buttons.
Look for the buttons, yeah.
So, what do we got?
So today we have a couple stat lines, and then Cole came up with a wonderful idea talking about one reason each team in the NBA bubble, which is 22 teams, could possibly win the championship this year, and with a little asterisk because of the fucking coronavirus. But we're going to hop right into stat lines first. I'm going to let you read off the first one because this is your boy.
Kyle Lowry went off for 33 points, 14 rebounds. How does that man get 14 rebounds?
This motherfucker is 6'2" tops.
He's got hops, I guess. I don't know. How do you lucky bounces? How do you get 14 rebounds?
I don't ask Russell Westbrook. He does all the goddamn time.
What was AD doing? He's got like a foot on.
I don't know. I think he ended up with like 9 or 10 rebounds, but still, like Kyle Lowry being 6'2" and grabbing 14 rebounds is ridiculous.
Yeah. Lowry also got 6 assists. And in case you couldn't tell by the AD reference, it was against the Lakers.
Yeah. So when I was looking up this stat line, and I think this part's funny. I was looking up the stat line. I actually had to go through and watch the highlights because I thought Google and the NBA, when they update the stats, flip the numbers on accident because that shit's ridiculous. Maybe like 14 assists on like a good passing day, but holy shit, 14 rebounds. Next, we have Joel Embiid, the man, the myth, the process. 41 points, 21 rebounds, 4 assists versus the Pacers. This is actually a very, very tight game. Embiid just doing his thing. I think he averages 25 or 26 for the season. I don't know, he's dominant, but tonight he just went off and got a fuck ton of rebounds as well.
How many rebounds?
21 rebounds.
21?
20. I can't do this anymore. I'm retiring from the podcast.
Then Warren.
TJ Warren. You guys might remember him as the guy that got in a fight with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, you get this.
Again, in that same game versus the 76ers, TJ Warren had 3 assists, 4 rebounds, and 53 points. Holy shit. Bro, that man was shooting the lights out that bitch.
Now, if only he could have got another 47 tied Wilt.
Nobody's going to tie Wilt.
Nobody's
not happening. Kobe was the closest with 81, then Devin Booker at like 72, but it's not happening, buddy.
Nobody's getting close.
No.
So, James Harden. That's the way to pronounce his name now, guys. James Harden.
Sound like Christopher Walken.
So, James Harden dropped 49 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists versus the Mavericks. That's a good game for him.
Now, like it says right there, it did go into overtime, so there was an overtime period.
Yeah.
But I think OT, there was only like 14 points scored for the... I'm trying to remember this part off the top of my head. 14 points scored for the Mavericks and 16 scored for the Rockets. So Harden still had a magic game, bro.
Yeah, that's a really good game either way.
I think we've grown to expect performances like this occasionally for Harden, like just to kind of go off every 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
Because in this same game, Russell Westbrook actually had 31.
Well, that's a good game for Westbrook, too.
That's 80 points between 2 people.
Yeah. Did you see the one clip of Harden? He tried to jump between 2 people just to get the foul.
Dude, that's what he does, though.
Like, it was a great foul.
Somewhere out there, and I don't know what the stat would be called, but we're just going to say it's most free throw attempts. That's got to be a real stat somewhere. Most free throw attempts per game has to be
27.
I mean on average, like per game.
On average. Okay.
That has to be held by Harden for like the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, probably.
Without a doubt. So in that game, On the Maverick side of things, we had Kristaps Porzingis, 39 points, 16 rebounds, 2 assists, again in the Rockets overtime. The big man tried to keep it up, but Harden and the Rockets did win the game, unfortunately. Russell Westbrook had 31. I think Luka had 28, which breaks my heart because Luka should have showed up and went off for like 80.
He's saving it for the actual playoffs.
That's true. The seeding games don't matter. So
yeah, he's tanking on purpose to get the best matchup for him. He's like, I want those Lakers.
That's a horrible idea. Next
is a Mr. Fox.
Mr. De'Aaron Fox. This man. Foxy. I'm going to cut that out.
I was going to go straight up, was it Booker T? Tell me he didn't just say that. I think it was all right.
I don't know who that was, but that's a flashback to childhood right there.
So, De'Aaron Fox got 39 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists against the Spurs. 39 points, a lot of points.
Yeah, and he was injured in the beginning of the year, and now he's coming back. And 39 points in the bubble is pretty amazing. But looking at the stat line, like nobody normally will have like somebody with like 28 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, like double-double, near triple-double on our stat line. I don't know how far back you remember from the podcast earlier this year, but I think this is the first time where we've had, because I try to look for 5 or 6, this is the first time where we've had a full set of stat lines where somebody didn't score under 30 points in the stat line.
Yeah, that's actually nuts.
Nobody had like close to the triple-double that I was looking for. Anthony Davis had 24 points and like 12 rebounds one game. But this is the first time we've had like all 30s in our stat line.
Lowry was kind of close to a triple-double, but not really. I mean, he had a double-double and 6 assists, so it's close-ish.
No, but you can't ignore a point guard getting 14 rebounds.
No, you can't ignore that.
That's not happening.
Yeah, literally, he had 33 points, and that's our lowest point total on our Stars of the Week.
That's insane. That was loud.
Yeah, that's not going to be good for the audio listeners.
No, I just see the red pop up on the bar. Next, we have one reason why each team in the bubble could win a championship. We're going to start with Cole because he's got the Eastern Conference and the bottom 2 of the Western Conference. We tried to split it up, 11-11 split.
I figured we'd do 1-1.
We can do 1-1. I'm down.
All right, you want me to go first?
Yeah. I'm paper. He's phone. He's 2020. I'm 1920.
So, the first team I have on my list is the Toronto Raptors. Not even on purpose either. I checked out a stat, and it was them. It was the Toronto Raptors. The stat was, which team is allowing the least amount of points per game? The Toronto Raptors are only allowing 106.5 points per game, which is the lowest in the NBA. So, if they can continue to keep up their defense and keep their foot on the gas when it comes to offense, they should be able to win some games no problem.
All right, on my list we have the Lakers. There's one I look for like an more emotional reason for this, but I'm going to give you a statistical reason that Cole just told me when he walked in is on that points allowed per game statistic, the Lakers are second.
Yeah, correct? Second.
So not only that, but they also have huge depth. That's the word. Depth at the big man, so they got Kuzma who can play the small and the power forward. They got all these bigs: JaVale, Dwight, Anthony Davis, LeBron's fucking gigantic, so he can play all 5.
He's gigantor.
You know Brady calls me that.
Does he?
All the time. That's how he answers the phone. I smack the shit out of him. But this is the big reason. LeBron is 3-6 in the finals, or 3, 4, 6, or however the work. So he's looking for his 4th ring. On top of that, Kobe, the whole Lakers team is moved to push for the Lakers to get a ring because of Kobe. So there's your emotional reason. Cole provided me with statistical reasons and the depth as well, because that's insane having that many big men.
Yeah, that's a lot of bigs.
Especially the ones like Anthony Davis never lost his point guard skills. You know, he grew from like 6'2 to 6'8 his freshman to sophomore year.
I mean, their average height isn't 7'1 or anything, but
no,
like some other teams. One reason the Milwaukee Bucks can win the NBA championship is simply Giannis. He's averaging a double-double with 29.8 points per game and 13.8 rebounds per game. And it doesn't hurt the fact that Brook Lopez is averaging 2.5 blocks a game.
What?
So, yeah. So if they can keep their foot on Giannis and Middleton, as long as they both show up every night and keep scoring, and Brook doesn't do Brooklyn Nets things, they have no reason that they can't win.
All right, Brooklyn Nets things. I'm not going to take that personally. Next, we have the Los Angeles Clippers. This team may not be the highest in points allowed per game, or the lowest, I guess, however you want to look at it. But they have the best individual defenders on their team. 100%. They got Patrick Beverley, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George, which are three of the best. Patrick Beverley is definitely the best guard in the league defensively, up there with Avery Bradley. And for best defensive wings, you're looking at either Kawhi or Paul George, and both of them are on the same team. And to top that off, Kawhi is reigning champion, so
Kawhi.
You're not, and he's only averaging like 23, 24 points a game because of Paul George being on the team.
Yep,
but
he's a good guy.
When you
good player,
that's the thing. Like he took all the scoring load off Kawhi. Kawhi scores 24 pretty easily nowadays. And when playoffs come around, Kawhi's gonna go into that mode.
Yeah, that destroy the Sixers' hearts mode.
Destroy the Bucks' hearts mode.
Yeah, that come back from 0-2, just 4 straight.
Bro, Kawhi is a different man.
Yeah, Kawhi's a monster. Arguably one of the top 2 players in the NBA.
Not arguably, he's definitely top 2. Yeah. LeBron's the only person I can see being above him.
What about Curry?
Top 3.
Yeah,
okay. He's definitely the 3rd or the 4th. You got KD's out right now, though, so you got to throw KD in there too.
Yeah, I forgot about KD because injuries, injury called DLP.
Wait till next year. He's on the Nets. We're gonna win a bunch of games next year as soon as we trade fucking Kyrie Irving.
Is Kyrie Irving coming back next year?
I fucking hope not.
All right. So one reason the Boston Celtics can win the NBA championship. The reason they can win the NBA championship is their onslaught of scoring. They have 3 players averaging 20-plus points per game, and Walker, Brown, and Tatum. So, between those 3, that's 60 points a game if they all do their average. So, and I'm sure most of them are going to, at most games, one of them is going to go way above that 20, because that's how the NBA works. You don't always just average your average. You go above, you go below. That's how it works.
That's how averages work.
Yeah, that's how averages work. Not to mention, you got Gordon Hayward averaging 17.3.
He's not even back to like where he was. If he got back to where he was when he was playing for the Jazz, he was like a 25, 26 point game player. And then he got real hurt. But if he gets back there, yikes.
Yeah, the Boston Celtics have 4 great scorers, and obviously scoring is a big part of winning games.
So it's Brown, Tatum, and Kemba averaging 20?
Yeah.
That's freakish.
Yeah, I should have called him Kemba instead of Walker. Most people were probably like, who? Yeah. Well, not who, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, he plays basketball, so he's a runner.
They had to think about it. Yeah.
Next, we have the Denver Nuggets. So this one, they had a bunch of players out for the first restart. Like they had Jamal Murray out, who, if you guys don't know, is one of the better guards on the team. Gary Harris was out, and then I can't remember the other guy's name, but he rides the bench. But they had their depth out, and they have a bunch of young talent surrounding Nikola Jokic. Truthfully, I don't think they're gonna win, but if they do, it's definitely because they have, Bol Bol's young, Michael Porter Jr. is young, Jokic is relatively young, in a lot better shape now. Jamal Murray's young. They have a lot of youth to be able to run around these guys and just keep going. And then their depth, they have great guards, Morris, like I said, Gary Harris. They have good depth going in, and then because they're not gonna be running a freak lineup, they're gonna actually have bigs. Like Jeremy Grant didn't start in the restart, so he can play his guard or he can play his role as a forward now. Bol didn't start in the restart. Miles Plumlee didn't start in the restart. Nikola Jokic did. So they're going to actually have their depth back. I don't know why they were testing out the Monstars lineup, but
the Monstars.
It worked. freakishly well. Go ahead. My bad.
So, next up is the Miami Heat. One reason the Heat could win is the combo of Adebayo, that's how you say it, right?
Bam Adebayo.
Bam Adebayo. And Jimmy Butler. Bam is... I just get a kick out of that name. Just Bam.
That is
so
funny.
It's like Bam.
Bam.
Bam is the reason they can win. So, Bam Adebayo. Adebayo.
Are you okay?
I am not okay. So Bam is averaging a double-double. And Butler is shooting 45.6% of the field, which is about league average.
Right.
So, if these two can do what they're doing best in the regular season, there's not much that can stop them. You just got to keep your foot on the gas and try to keep the turnovers down.
Well, they have other good players surrounding them, like Tyler Hero, Kelly Olynyk's a big that can shoot, and Goran Dragic, their point guard.
Yeah.
And then Kendrick Nunn was third in the Rookie of the Year. He's the guard that comes off the bench.
It's a good six-man.
Yeah. He came out, the first game he came out, because there were injuries, he scored 25 points. That was his first game. Insane.
That's quite a debut.
Next, we have the Utah Jazz. For this one, I'm going to start off with the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. He's averaging 3 blocks a game, something stupid. And Mike Conley, who is a very, very proven scorer. And then to top that off, while you have players like Gobert, who's reigning depoy, and Conley, who's a volume scorer, a lot of these guys aren't stars. Like you look at the Utah Jazz and there's no stars. Bogdanovich isn't a star. Gobert isn't a star. Conley isn't a star. But if you remember the 2004 Detroit Pistons, nobody on the team averaged over 20 points a game, and they won the championship with Defensive Player of the Year Ben Wallace. So the Utah Jazz are very, in my brain, very reminiscent of the 04 Pistons when they won the championship. So I truly believe that if they keep doing what they're doing, they have a bunch of stars with no egos, and if they play the game together as one, we are one, they can win the championship. Team ball.
Team ball. Speaking of team ball, the Indiana Pacers.
Okay.
They are tied for the second best shooting percentage in the NBA right now.
Really?
So if they play strong defense and continue to take smart shots, the opposing team will have a difficult time keeping up with them. Just be efficient and, play strong defense.
Play better defense. Miles Turner's on there. He averages a good couple blocks a game.
Yeah,
on my fantasy league.
Miles Turner's monster. Speaking of fantasy, before we get into the next reason, what did your fantasy league do?
They stopped.
They just stopped?
When the season ended, the whole league stopped. And the top, we had a buy-in, and the top 2 players got money. I was 4th. I was pissed. There were 8 players in the league.
Oh, there were 8.
It was a $50 buy-in. That shit wasn't cheap.
Oh, man, that's a lot, bro.
Nah, it's whatever. I was 4th. This is a side note, the first fantasy league, and this is why I don't like Kyrie Irving, the first fantasy league I ever got into had Kyrie Irving, and he went out for like the first 10 or 11 games or whatever, and I couldn't recover. I couldn't recover.
No. He tripped on the flat earth.
I fucking hate Kyrie Irving. Little fucking rap bastard with an afro. Next, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, CP3 is on the downslope of his career. That's not uncommon. Anybody who was brought in the 2005 draft, that is 15 years ago. Wait, was it 2005 or 2006? It was like 2 or 3 years after LeBron.
It was a few years ago. We'll say that.
Yeah,
it's quite a few years ago.
I know he played on the Bobcats, so it was definitely a long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was before they turned into the Hornets. So, and now he's playing amazing. Like, he got 18, 7, and 7, so he's still damn near close to his career triple-double like he's always been. He's a small guard, 6 foot like Lowry. But their pick-and-roll game is amazing, which it's always going to be when Chris Paul's on the team. And they have the bigs to prove it. They have Steven Adams. They have a couple other rollers. And then they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is a star that's emerged this year. And is probably going to be a very lethal threat in a year or two. I think if they can get their shooting down, and just play better defense, they'll be all right.
The Philadelphia 76ers, or the website we looked at, the Philadelphia 79ers.
Oh, yeah. What was up with that? I Googled the teams that were in the bubble, and it showed Philadelphia 79ers. I was shook.
So, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons.
Simmons?
I'm telling you, man.
I gotta edit this.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry, man. Okay, let's retry that one. Alright, the Philadelphia 76ers. One reason that they can win is that Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons being on the same page is a must. If those two are on the same page, the Sixers are a tough out. But if they don't cooperate together, it's not going to be very hard. You know how they could be a little selfish. That's all I'm going to say. And
they have Tobias Harris this year, though.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
My next slide.
My bad.
And Tobias Harris is also a great player, averaging 19.4 points per game. When the three of them are on the floor and working as a team, they're hard to beat.
100%. They have good rookies, too. Next, we have the Houston Rockets. Westbrook and Harden. They actually have both of them.
That's a reason on its own.
Yeah.
As long as Harden doesn't go playoff Harden, we're fine.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely never been finals Harden.
It's definitely never been finals Harden.
Same thing with Westbrook. So, the small ball lineup, which is a pretty good knock at the Rockets, 6'5" center, PJ Tucker, would, at this point in the season, be exhausted. Like, pick, May or June or whenever the playoffs would have been. That small ball lineup would have gotten the shit kicked out of them. Let's be realistic. Now they've had time to take a break, and they're going to have more options. So the tallest player on the court at any given time is Robert Covington at 6'8". That's their biggest motherfucker that's ever going to be there. Covington can shoot, Tucker can shoot. A lot of their players that play the 3, 4, 5 are shooters because they're guards. So now they're going to have the option to have that energy built up. And if they can make a hard run at it and Harden shows up like he did the other night with 49 points where him and Westbrook combined for 80, I think they have a good shot. And Russell Westbrook's a triple-double machine. And because Harden's playing on the Rockets, he's been able to take like half the season off and just kind of relax. So I think having both of them on the court at the same time is going to be lethal.
So the next 5 teams, not going to lie, but sorry to their fans, it was hard to find reasons.
Agreed, dude. This bottom 5 was garbage. The only good team that I have in the next 5 is the Mavericks.
I have the Wizards, man.
My bad. You're right.
But before we get to the Wizards, we're going to start with the Brooklyn Nets. Okay, so one reason the Nets can win the NBA title is having Spencer Dinwiddie ball out.
That's my guy right there.
Your guy is averaging 20.6 points per game.
You want to hear a fun fact?
And 6.8 assists per game.
You want to hear a fun fact?
What's the fun fact?
He's been our 6th man this entire year.
Well, he should probably start.
Kyrie was starting.
Well, Kyrie's...
Shouldn't be starting. Shouldn't be on the fucking team.
I've never seen somebody hate their star players so much.
He's not the star. KD's the star. KD's just injured.
All right.
Dude, I want D'Angelo Russell back.
I know you do, man. Dude, when I googled some net stats, he popped up, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I miss that guy.
Okay, so,
buddy.
Well, if Spencer Dinwiddie can ball out with his 20.6 points per game and 6.8 assists per game, they have a chance. Small chance, but they have a chance nonetheless. Because he can definitely find his open teammates, and he can make shots when he needs to.
Oh, yeah. And we got good bigs on the Nets, and some good shooters.
As long as LeVert, Harris, and Price are doing their jobs too, you have a chance.
Harris will do his job.
You, the Nets fans, all 6 of you.
You know what? They just need to sign me, and I'll replace Kyrie in the lineup. I'm taller than him. I can probably grab more rebounds. That's about it. All right.
You're going to get fouled hardest.
And I am okay with that because I shoot 85% from the free throw line as my last league. I'll be the next team's Harden. I'll be getting fouled on purpose. All right.
You're going to get little people taking charges.
Now that my pipe dream's over, I'm gonna move on here.
Built like a truck, this dude.
I'm sorry.
Not like a pickup truck or a Mack truck. He's more of a dump truck or a food truck.
Did you say food truck?
Yeah.
Is that because I like to eat? Fuck you. Next, we have the Dallas Mavericks. Number one reason, depth. They have a pretty deep bench. A lot of their guards double over. And with the traditional shortened workload that stars get in the playoffs, because they just want their stars playing more minutes, they don't actually have to do that. So while other teams are going to be doing that, they're going to have like Seth Curry, who can come out and drop 12 points a game. They have a couple good guards on the bench. But now they can actually use the bench to either maintain or build a lead against other core players. And then while the Raptors or the Nets or whoever are running their bench to shit and running their star players to shit, Luka's sitting there having a cup of Gatorade. And Porzingis. And number one reason, this is the obvious reason, Boban Marjanovic is the GOAT.
I thought you were just going to say Luka.
No, Boban, well, they're both the GOAT. Dude, that whole team's from Eastern Europe. Like, I've never been more proud of a team of a bunch of white boys.
Which one? Oh, man, that's messed up.
It is what it is.
I don't know if this sentence has ever been spoken in 2020, but one reason the Wizards can win the NBA championship. Yes, I skipped one. Shush.
Okay. I was like, what? Because I know the other one's not believable either.
The Wizards can win is Bradley Beal is averaging 30.5 points per game.
Do you know if John Wall is going to come back?
I don't think he is.
Is he out till next season?
Get to Googling.
Got you. Keep talking.
The Wizards' Bradley Beal is averaging 35.5 points per game. That is the second best in the league. If the team is able to grab some rebounds, which they are currently 30th in rebounds.
What?
Yeah, they're 30th in rebounds, according to Fox Sports. So if they can grab him some rebounds, he should be able to make the team competitive by himself.
John Wall is not coming back.
John Wall's not coming back.
No.
John Wall cannot enter the bubble. The wall can't get through the bubble. Normally the bubble can't get through the wall.
All right, Grizzlies.
Yeah, that was stupid. I'm sorry, guys.
With structure, this kind of goes back to one of the teams I was talking about earlier. The Grizzlies have a lot of young energy, and the break gives the young guys a lot of time because they're not tired. They're not taking the break. They can go in and get shots up or work on some of their weaknesses. That, and you have Rookie of the Year leader John Morant. And you have other great options like Valanciunas. I'm sure you remember him. Dylan Brooks, who's 14 points a game, and Jaren Jackson Jr., the Triple J monster, who just got 33 the other night, is averaging upwards of 17 points a game. So with all of them coming into fruition and all the young energy that they have, they can make a run for the chip. That was, honestly, out of these last 5 teams, that was the easiest one to do. Because I had the Trailblazers on here, and I couldn't find a reason why the fuck I'm going to win. They got 3...
No.
They got 3 people, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Carmelo Anthony. 3 people that will choke in the finals. They're all phenomenal players, and they're all going to go off, but they will not... I hope they win together, because Melo is one of my favorite players ever. The number I have is from Carmelo Anthony and Joe Johnson. I wear number 7 for those 2 people.
Are they referring to him now? Skinny Melo?
Yeah.
Is that what they're calling him? You see, it was the excess weight that was making him choke in the finals. See, now that he's Skinny Melo, he's going to go off. He's going to average like 40.5 points per game throughout. No, it's not going to.
I wish. I'd want the Trailblazers to win a championship. That'd be fire.
Yeah, that would be fire. The one reason the Magic can win the NBA championship is the last 5 games before the shutdown, they were averaging a little over 120 points per game.
Oh, shit.
If they can drop 120 every night, they have a good shot at winning because, 120 is not an easy number to hit. It's not incredibly hard, but it's not easy.
No, considering like for that to happen, you got to have at least 5 players averaging 15 points a game.
Yeah.
Because that's the thought that having 6 that you got to run 8, 9 players. They're probably running 9 or 10 players. Let's say they're running 9. You know, you're looking at like 10 to 12 points a player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the next one, as alluded to earlier, is Trailblazers. I don't think they can, but Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum.
This segment isn't for you to think; it's for you to give reasons.
Oh, well, I had to think about these reasons that I don't agree with. Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Skinny Mello now are 3 players that all traditionally have performed well in the playoffs, but have never made a finals run. With that said, I think the 3 of them possibly could make a finals run together, and now they actually have post options. Yusuf Nurkic and John Collins. The 4 and the 5 of their squad are actually producing well. At least from the highlights I've seen, from the restart, and even the scrimmage games that they were having, they're actually producing kind of well. So, if the bigs keep the shit together, and Melo doesn't take isolation shots every possession, I think we'll be alright. Share the ISO, because all 3 of them do it. I just got sprayed on my nose. I just got sprayed on my nose.
You gotta edit that out.
Yeah, no fucking shit.
More editing, yay.
You don't have to do it. What are you worried about?
So, the next team, San Antonio Spurs.
You can start with they won't, because they won't, but you can be nice about it.
The San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs.
San Antonio? D'Antonio?
San Antonio Spurs.
Antonio's Pizza.
Okay. So, they are 100% going to... It's 2%. That might be pushing it.
1.5. If we're lucky.
So, the reason they can win is Aldridge and DeRozan are a good 3-4 guard combo.
Yeah.
DeMar is averaging 22.2 points per game, 5.6 assists. Aldridge is averaging 1.6 blocks, and Murray is getting 1.7 steals a game.
What about Rudy Gay?
I have no idea.
He was a huge part of Sacramento a couple years back, and then advanced analytics shows he was ass, but he's actually really good at the power forward. Sorry.
Their key to winning is going to be taking the ball away from the other team with that 1.7 steals per game. They're going to need to do a lot more than that. And stopping shots. So they're going to need to get those blocks in. They're going to need to make sure that the team that they're playing against doesn't have a good shot to take. Strong defense and efficiency is going to be the only way they can win.
That's what Greg Popovich preaches, though, their coach. That's what they've won 5 championships under Popovich, and that is why.
Just because the coach says it doesn't mean the players can do it.
No, but it worked for years. That's how Kawhi came about.
Yeah, when they had Kawhi, bro.
Kawhi, Tim Duncan, but that's how these players started, man.
Yeah.
And one of their best players, Manu Ginobili, right?
Sounds familiar.
All right, well, he's a Spur legend. He's won 5 championships. I think he's won 4. He was a second-round draft pick. So Greg Popovich can make a great player out of anybody. Next, a team that I don't think will win, New Orleans Pelicans.
Zion!
I think getting there would probably be a good start. Let's get to the finals. Let's get to the playoffs. They're young, so they lack the experience of getting to the finals and the playoffs. Ball, Hart, and Ingram have not played there. Zion has barely played in the NBA.
Does this count as playoffs? Is this considered playoffs?
Now, these are seeding games.
No, so our team's going to be eliminated off the seeding games?
Yeah, so there's only going to be 8 teams from each conference in the seeding games.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So make the playoffs is the first step.
Right, so getting there while they can. The problem that I'm going to see is a lot of these kids, I call them kids, but they're our age, don't have the experience of the playoffs. And let alone that, they're going to run into different versions of the stars that they already play against. Like LeBron goes playoff mode, Kawhi, Paul George. Like all these guys have a playoff mode.
Zion's got a playoff mode. I can sense it.
Yeah, he goes from 19 to 22 points a game. Shocker. He hit one more three.
Wow.
All right.
That's rough, bro.
If I have to pick a reason as to why they can win the championship, they're shooters. If Josh Hart shoots well, he's a phenomenal shooter. If Ingram can get his skinny ass together and shoot better, and if Lonzo can fix that broke ass jumper and shoot better, like he fixed his jumper tremendously, but he's still a little shaky, a little inconsistent. And
Every time I think of Lonzo, I just think of that meme that was like when you spend all your money on 2K on tattoos and clothing instead of attributes.
Crazy. Yeah. And then if Zion has a couple big games, they have good players. Derek Favors is on the squad. Etuan Moore's there. He can shoot. They have good players, but I don't really think they're going to make a championship run. But if they have to, it's going to be on the backs of Ingram and Zion and Lonzo. Still don't think it's going to happen.
They're going to need a rocket strapped to their back.
They're going to need a trade.
Yeah. I don't think you can make trades anymore.
You can't.
No, they're going to...
See you next season.
They're going to need to find a really good free agent.
There are none.
Is Boogie still a free agent?
DeMarcus Cousins? No, he signed with the Lakers, I think.
Wait, so they cut him and they signed him back?
I don't know. I got to edit anyway, so might as well start Googling.
Do you want me to start reading the next one? While I get Googling?
Go for it.
All right. So one reason that...
He's not picked up. It reads his current team is the United States of America.
Team USA all the way. Anyway.
Oops.
So, yeah. There you go. Sign Boogie Cousins and you might have a chance.
I think he's still injured. That's probably why he hasn't gotten picked up.
Him being injured, he's still got to be better.
And he played for the Pelicans once he left. He's going to do that shit again.
Oh, you're right. He did, didn't he?
Yeah, Anthony Davis was pissed.
Anthony Davis is like, I'm taking my talents to L.A.
Facts. I thought you were about to say South Beach.
I was going to say South Beach, but I'm like, well, he didn't go to South Beach. He went to L.A., so, you know.
Correct him.
All right, so, as you can probably tell, I'm kind of losing my voice here for some reason. So, one reason the Suns, yes, the Phoenix Suns can win the NBA championship. It's a face I made while trying to figure this out. Is just Devin Booker. That's the best I can come up with. Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Devin Booker is amazing. He's the reason they could win the NBA championship, the only reason. Rubio is averaging 8.9 assists per game, so as long as he can keep beating Booker and company, mainly Booker.
What about Kelly Oubre? DeAndre Ayton.
Booker.
Booker.
Booker, man. I don't know if I trust those other guys.
I don't.
Oh. As long as Booker shows up, they have a chance. But Booker's going to need some help.
It's going to need Oubre. All right.
Oubre.
Sacramento Kings.
That one's a rough go.
They won't. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoy the podcast. No.
You don't have a reason?
No, I have reasons. I just don't like them.
Go
They have solid rotation pieces. They have good rotation pieces. They're finally healthy. De'Aaron Fox was injured at the beginning of the year, which I talked a little bit about earlier. Rashawn Holmes and Bogdan Bojan, whichever Bogdanovich brother plays for that team, because I can never tell the two apart, missed about 11 games individually throughout the season as well. And then Bagley, who has been having a shitty year, is actually injured for the playoffs. So they have a player that's performing poorly, is not going to be there, and they have a bunch of players that are performing well that are going to be there. They're not going to win the championship, but if I had to say that that's the reason, I'm going to put it on De'Aaron Fox, because the man scored 40 the other night, so...
Who has a better chance, the Suns or the Kings?
The Suns.
The Suns.
Kelly Oubre is actually a good player, and I can't wait for you to realize that. He's a phenomenal player. And he's got...
Man, I was writing these notes at 2:30 in the morning. You leave me alone.
I was writing them at 8:30, and I still don't like them.
8:30 when?
Today.
You wrote him at 8:30 today?
Bro.
He made his notes 3 hours ago, guys.
I wanted to wait to see how these fucking teams were performing. We had games last night.
This dude's a slacker.
I gotta edit this whole thing.
We had this idea for like 5 days.
Bro, that's a lie. That can't be true. Cole.
Maybe 3 days. 3 or 4. I don't know.
Friday.
It's Friday.
Two tops.
That was early on Friday, dude.
It was 5:54 in the afternoon.
That's early, man.
Bro, that's a nighttime. I just
Yeah,
got out of work.
bro.
That's not...
Man, you keep going into the red. Look at you.
Ha!
Dude.
I gotta edit it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast. Whatever's...
Did we convince you that maybe the San Antonio Spurs can win the NBA championship or another team? If we convinced you, you can let us know on our socials or in the comment section below. If you have a reason that we didn't mention, you can drop that below or on our Instagram page or something.
Facts. Follow us on Twitter. You can get at me on Twitter. You can get at both of us on Instagram. He's more active on Instagram than he is on Twitter. So if you see
Twitter,
right? See, he hasn't had Twitter since 2016. You guys can get us there again. They're here and here
in this box.
Yeah. And if you're listening, they're down in the description below. Drop us a follow. If you guys are on any other platform, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, drop a like, greatly appreciated. And I think that's about it. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.